Hey, it's Scott again, and I'm back to do another video. And this time the topic is financial reporting. Financial reporting is near and dear to my heart. I would say that growing up, I was a average math student. I took all the prerequisite courses around algebra and calculus and all these types of things. And I really had, I would say, kind of a basic understanding of some of the financial tools, tips, and recording and reporting mechanisms that I would be able to use to build these businesses. And over time, what I've realized is the beauty of our space that we're in, the online marketing space, is that if you look hard enough, most of the things that we do are measurable, right? So from impressions to clicks to how long somebody stays on a landing page to how many times people buy and how many times they reorder, all of this creates a whole mess of data for you to look at and organize. And I'll tell you that one of the biggest mistakes that people make when starting their business is failure to record this data, right? So if you have gotten by just flying by the seat of your pants, buying advertising, hitting it at landing pages, you're really doing yourself a disservice. And it's really likely that you're not going to succeed long term unless you have a way to organize this data in a really clear and understand way, clear and understandable way for you to kind of look at it, measure it, and make decisions off of it. So the first thing I'll tell you with financial reporting is that the most basic fundamental thing that you want to focus on is a daily P&L, right? And this is, we're going to go into like mind-numbing, levels of detail underneath that. But really the hallmark of what you do is a daily P&L. And quite simply, all you're really looking to do is look at how much revenue did the company make yesterday? So, and you can organize it by where did the revenue come from? So if you're a physical products or a digital products person, you might have listed the sales of your product. And then it looks at what are the expenses that it took you to support that. And there are kind of operating expenses and there are below the line expenses. Let me explain. Operating expenses are those expenses that directly relate to the selling of your product. So that typically involves kind of like traffic sources. So if you're buying on Facebook, it looks at things like cost of goods sold if you're a physical products person. So you want to take the revenue minus the operating expenses. And again, we'll typically focus on traffic and cost of goods sold, and that will give you your operating expenses or your gross profit. And then from there, what you want to do is take off kind of like what I call below the line expenses. And those are typically things like salaries or web hosting or any of the services that you use, ESP charges to support the business. And that should give you kind of a net profit or gross profit number from there. And that's the most basic form of financial reporting that you can have. So what I tell people is you can organize it in Google spreadsheets. You can do it by month. The month will add up to a monthly number, but that's the most basic that I think every marketer really needs to focus on is some financial recording, some financial, kind of discipline to be able to kind of measure this stuff. Now, from there, there's lots of ways to go. And the second way that I would go is typically looking at your ad spend. So the other spreadsheet to do would be kind of a daily ad spend. And if you're spending money either with Facebook or Google or doing affiliate traffic, you want to break that down into saying, for example, yesterday I spent $500 on Facebook. And here's how it did, right? I got 1 million impressions and I got 500 clicks, and those clicks led to 5 sales or 10 sales. And those 10 sales did, an AOV of $80. And therefore my revenue from that $500 ad spend is X. And so I have a profit and loss on that $500 ad spend of X. So very similar to the P&L statement, you want to be able to organize your ad spend in a very, very similar format. And again, you could break it down even further and say of that $500, 100 was spent on ad set 1, 100 was on ad set 2, so forth, and you can measure it that way as well. But from there, you want to get to the types of ads that are eliciting the highest profit. And so if you do this daily, it will begin to tell you a story of the ads that are working, the ads that are not working. It'll give you a playbook on which ads to cut, which ads to scale. So those are the two kind of like basic fundamentals that you really need to have when it comes time to looking at financial reporting. So if you don't have that, race like mad to go get it set up. If you need a template, I can provide a template for you that myself and other clients use. And that gives you kind of the basics, right? Again, it can be on Google Docs so you can share it with people, but get in the habit of basically filling this out every day to give a sense of how your company's doing. It'll let you sleep at night knowing that you're making money. If you're losing money, it'll give you impetus and kind of like motivation to figure out how you're losing money and how to change it. So work on those two things. Financial reporting is a big, big topic of conversation, but that should give you kind of some basics on how to look at this stuff in a way that keeps you safe and keeps you out of the idea of not knowing how your business is doing. Anyway, I hope that helps, and we'll see you on later videos. Bye-bye.